You see them all the time, right? Those little logos and badges on websites, on products. Companies are always happy to show off their certifications. But let's be real for a second. Do we actually know what it takes to earn one of those things? And more importantly, what it takes to keep it? Well, we're going to pull back the curtain on that right now.
It seems like a pretty simple question, doesn't it? But the answer is actually pretty deep. When you see that label, what is the company actually promising you? And that's it, right there. At its heart, a certification isn't just a fancy certificate they hang on the wall. It's a public promise. It's the company saying, hey, we have a system in place to meet a really high standard, and we've paid an independent expert to come in and make sure we're not kidding. It's basically a bridge of trust between them and you.
So to really get a grip on this, we're going to break it down into 5 parts. First, we'll cover the basics. Then we'll walk through all the prep work and the day-to-day grind. After that, we'll see how companies stay on track for the long haul. And finally, we'll look at the big picture strategy that pulls it all together. All right, first things first, we need to get a handle on what we're even talking about here. Because, certification isn't just one thing. It's a massive, sprawling landscape of different standards for different promises. Just look at the variety here. You've got standards for overall quality management, like ISO 9001. Then you have big ones for information security, like ISO 27001. There are special reports, like SOC 2, that are absolutely essential for cloud companies. You've got product safety marks you see every day, like UL on your electronics. It can even get down to the level of the employees themselves and their professional qualifications. It's a huge world. And that, my friends, is where certification management comes into play. It's the whole system a company uses to juggle this entire portfolio of commitments, from the moment they decide to go for one, all the way to keeping it year after year after year. So where does a company even start? Well, I'll tell you where it doesn't start. It doesn't start the day the auditor shows up. No way. It starts months, sometimes even a whole year or more before that, with a ton of prep work. This is basically the game plan. First, you've got to scope the project. Like, are we certifying the whole company or just this one department? Then you do a readiness check to find all your weaknesses before the auditor does. You got a budget for it, because this stuff isn't free. And maybe most important, you have to train your people. They're the ones who actually make the system work. And let me be clear, this is not some side hustle. It's a full-blown project and needs serious project management to keep all the plates spinning, and you have to be in constant contact with the certification body. Those are the auditors who are going to give you that final stamp of approval. Okay, so you're all prepped. Now what? Well, now we head down into the engine room. This is the day-to-day, ongoing work that's required to actually live up to that promise you're making. This is really the heart and soul of it. It's all about meticulous documentation. Because in the world of auditing, if you didn't write it down, it never happened. It's about always looking for potential risks. And get this is pretty clever. Control mapping lets you use one single process to meet the rules of multiple different standards. That saves a ridiculous amount of time and money. And it's not just about you. You even have to make sure your suppliers are playing by the rules. Look, nobody's perfect. Things are going to go wrong. And that's where this comes in. Think of non-conformity and corrective action, or CAPA, as the system's immune response. It's a super formal process to find a problem, fix it, and, this is the most important part, figure out why it happened so you can learn from it and make sure it never, ever happens again. Getting that first certificate is a massive achievement, for sure. But the work is not done. Oh no. In a way, it's just getting started. This is all about playing the long game. So, to stay certified, there are 2 big kinds of audits. You have internal audits. Think of these like practice games. The company audits itself to find problems early before the real test. And then you have surveillance audits. That's the official test. That's when the external auditors come back every year to make sure you're still doing what you said you would so you can keep your certificate. And what's really key to understand is that all of this creates a constant loop of improvement. Management reviews how things are going, the team is always working to make things better, and everyone is on the lookout for new standards or updates they need to deal with. It really, truly never stops. Okay, for our last section, let's zoom all the way out. When you have a big company with all this stuff going on, how do you manage that complexity? Well, that's where governance comes in. Now, governance isn't just another task on a checklist. It's the whole high-level strategy. For instance, a company might go after a specific security certification, not just for fun, but because it will make them eligible to land a huge government contract. See, that's governance in action, making sure all this certification effort is actually pushing the business forward. And today, they have some pretty cool tools to do it. You've got these certification dashboards that give executives a bird's eye view of everything in real time. There's all sorts of specialized software to automate tasks and track progress. And, this is so important, marketing is a key part of it. What's the point of doing all this work if you don't tell your customers about the promise you're keeping? That's how you get the real value. If there's one phrase that just perfectly captures this whole thing, it's this one. It's not some project you finish and then forget about. It's an ongoing commitment. It's just the way you operate now. So, the next time you see one of those certification logos, you'll know what's really behind it. It's that journey, that whole engine of commitment, all working together to build one thing, a single, unified system for managing trust. That's the real power here. Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. A certificate proves you have the right processes, the right systems, but the real goal and the real challenge is to build a culture where quality and security are just part of everyone's DNA. And how a company does that, well, that's a question worth thinking about.